Good Monday morning, amigos. Dr. Doug here at GoBodyTrust.com. I want to talk this morning about a subject that doesn't get talked about enough, and that is Yangming heat. This is a Chinese term, of course. And it is all too common and can be quite dangerous. So it's good for us to understand what this means. Now, Yangming refers to two organ channels. And of course, in Chinese medicine, we see organ and channel as very closely connected, almost synonymous. So we're talking about two organ channels that have to do with digestion: the large intestine, or colon, and stomach. The stomach is on the leg and foot, and large intestine on the hand and arm. But they both, together, they traverse the whole body, and even the head and everything. So when heat builds up in these two organ channels, it's a very nasty kind of heat, by the way. Very often it's toxic. It's damp heat, it's toxic heat, and that heat will rise, of course. And when that heat hits organs up in the chest, like the heart and the lungs, we have problems. But when it hits the brain, we got brain problems, really big ones too. And there's an article here in Science Daily. It says, new mouse model of Parkinson's disease shows how it spreads from the gut. So they're finding this out in biomedical terms, biomedical research, that heat is rising from the gut. So you got to ask yourself, where is this Yangming heat coming from? Well, first of all, Parkinson's is really nasty. It's the shaking disease, and it eventually can lead to death. It's paralysis. So it happens in older people. Why? Because heat builds up. Over time, it builds up and it gets worse and it starts eating the brain, eating parts of the brain. This is ALS and multiple sclerosis, other types of neurological diseases are the result of Yangming heat. So let's find out, as good detectives, where does this come from? Well, most of it these days originates in the large intestine, in the gut. And it's coming from too much food. I mean, 80% of Americans are overweight or obese. What's this tell you? That we're suffering from spleen damp, and that damp becomes damp heat, and that translates into Yangming heat and travels up those channels and finds its way into the brain stem, parts of the brain, parts of the spinal cord, and starts eating them, starts burning them up. Not good. In fact, they found, for example, in Alzheimer's, that the brain actually shrinks. That's because the tissue is being burnt up by heat, by this chronic Yangming heat. So it's one cause. There are other causes of heat, of course. Liver chi stagnation, any kind of stagnation will cause that. Well, and that's the food stagnation from eating too much food. That food stagnates, it sits in your gut, and it becomes like a swamp. It just starts breeding all kinds of critters, and some of them are really nasty critters. So you don't want that stagnation of food in your gut. So, I tell people, if you have anything like that, then back off to one meal a day if you can, or at least decrease your meals, and don't eat distracted. Don't eat while you're distracted, because then you're going to overeat. So you got to break that habit of overeating. In fact, you have to undereat. That's right. You got to let your body clear itself out of garbage, of stinky, nasty Yangming heat and swampy conditions by not eating. And when you stop eating, when you eat less, your body has the energy and the desire to go after all that garbage and get rid of it. So that's my main advice on what to do about Yangming heat. Eat less, get lean and clean. That's all for today, amigos. Thanks for watching. Hasta mañana.